Okay. Sometime in the past, before I had actually received my degree in degeneracy, I witnessed the rise of a certain kind of anime girl along with a slew of other anime girls, each of those anime girls with their own respective humor. It didn't take long for me to observe and assess these anime girls and their behavior, more specifically their humor. It didn't take long for me to pick up on a recurring joke between these anime girls, and it has recently popped into my head again, when at that time I didn't give it much thought, in which they made the claim, or at the very least insinuated, that their chest size allowed them to float better should their chest size be of a large size. This was usually said by the anime girls with bigger chest pillows, usually towards the flat chests or the ones lacking. And as I said, they at least in some way insinuated that a bigger chest size results in a built-in flotation device in women.
How does it feel not being hydrodynamic? Well, you see, she's hydrodynamic, but she needs floaties. Now me? I don't need any floaties. I got 2 big ones.
Though, is it theoretically possible for chest pillows to be flotation devices? A mighty fascinating question. Let's find out for science. The first step to figuring out whether or not something can float is to first figure out the 2 main concepts of water flotation in relation to the object at hand that needs to be completely, or at the very least partially, submerged in a body of water. Those 2 concepts being the buoyant force acting on the object as well as the density of the object. It is worth noting that all humans, regardless of chest size, are naturally buoyant. So regardless of whatever chest size you have, you are able to float in the water, unless your body is more muscle than fat. Because fat is considerably less dense than muscle, thus causing people with more fat to be able to float better than people with less fat and more muscle. As such, unless you're a bodybuilder, you should be able to float just fine. Density plays an important role in this. Though all density is the weight of an object in comparison to its mass. And if an object is more dense than the body of water, then it will sink. If it is less dense than the body of water, then it won't sink. The last thing that we really need to think about is the buoyant force acting on the object, which is essentially the opposing force that acts on both sides of the object when it is presented into a static fluid. This is amazing information. However, what we want to know is whether or not an anime girl's chest pillows are able to aid her and serve as a flotation device due to their immense size. The only way that we're going to be able to figure that out is if we analyze a pair of chest pillows by themselves, figure out if they are capable of floating on their own, because then we would be able to then infer that if they are able to float on their own, they can then add that much more flotation to the already buoyant anime girl body, because most anime girls aren't bodybuilders, so they're going to be able to float either way no matter what chest size. But for the thrill of science, let's figure out if they are able to float on their own. As part of my experiment, I'm going to be using a median. Or, to put it simply, a medium is premium type chest pillow, which is roughly a C cup. Don't judge me too harshly, I'm not a woman. Assessing this information, we can now note that a C cup weighs around roughly a pound at the very heaviest. Such, with this information, we can then assume, taking into account that a chest pillow is mostly comprised of glandular tissue, connective tissue, as well as muscle and fat, though the thing that chest pillows seem to be mostly consisting of is fat. Among other things, the fat seems to be the most prevalent. And if we were to take these chest pillows and put them into a body of water that is relatively large enough to house them, taking into account the size and weight of the chest pillows, we can then assume it is very likely that they will be able to float. By all accounts, it would seem chest pillows are in fact a possible flotation device for anime girls that could at the very least aid them. Most anime girls, for the most part, will be able to float regardless of chest size because they aren't bodybuilders. However, it is worth noting that anime girls with bigger chest sizes, in some way or other, have a bigger advantage than those who don't. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, and hypothetically, if you have watched this far, then you do enjoy my videos, feel free to like, subscribe, share this with your wife, your high school teacher, and your neighbor, and I'll be back to answer another question that I am a scientist can answer.